Flu is on the rise on the northern hemisphere, and I'm pretty sure we can all see it all around us. Folks, welcome to the channel, and in this case, talking about something that you probably noticed already. Lots of coughing, lots of people with stuffed nose and so on. And before I go on, one of the things I take pride on is approaching survival and preparedness from a common sense stance. This is actually something that a compliment that I get pretty often is, oh, what you're just saying is common sense. Sometimes a little bit more, you're not saying anything that is all that revealing. Well, common sense is unfortunately lacking a lot these days. So before I go on with this video, I want to remind you that flu has always existed. Different diseases, viruses, and so on, it's always been a thing. Every damn winter, it's been the same old thing. Every Christmas gathering, every New Year, you get home with a bunch of people and you're more likely to get sick. Is that the end of the world? Usually not. I mean, thousands of people die every year because of flu. It's nothing new. The idea of this being something by which you should surrender your freedom and liberty in exchange for a false sense of security, which at the end of the day, you basically have extremely little control over, that is something that I simply do not agree with. You may have a different opinion, but I encourage everyone to have a little bit more of a common sense approach. So, honestly, I'm with a little bit of a stuffed nose right now. My wife, she had a pretty bad cough. The only one that got a fever was my oldest son, so we've already gone through this. I just have a little bit of a different voice now and the nose thing, but pretty much that's it. You know, I don't know. I've been sick so many times over the years that I guess you start building a natural immunity, which is surprisingly good, if you can believe that. One of the things I've been doing is cold showers, which is something of a little bit of a not as common, but after, you know, every day after showering with nice warm water, slowly going into cold until it gets, you know, completely cold water. The first few times is a little bit more difficult, then it gets easier, but I mean, there's a bunch of interesting things to learn about that. And yeah, basically, you know, take the same old things you know. If you are sick, maybe stay home. If you have a bunch of people and everyone seems to have something going on, try to ventilate, open up the windows, let the sun in, drink lots of fluids, try to do exercise and have a somewhat sane, healthy diet. That's basically how it goes. And believe it or not, it kind of works. You may end up getting sick. You may barely notice you are sick at all. Honestly, when we all had COVID in my family, in my house, we only knew because we actually had the tests so as to actually check. And if it hadn't been by that, we wouldn't have even known that just because of a little bit of having a little bit of a cold symptoms and barely that was all any of us ever got. We've all had much more, you know, serious colds or flus or whatever thing it is that you go through life, but other than the drama, that's kind of it. And the same applies now. Again, people do die of flu every year, thousands of people. It's usually going to be people that have more of a compromised immune system, or you just had awfully bad luck or whatever it is. But yes, that's how life basically goes. Now, you will not stop living because of that, and you would not let fear paralyze you in spite of what some in the media want you to think. But other than that, it's just life as always. Now, I want to end this with something that I found from CNN. This is new. This is from 5 minutes. No, this is December 2023, right? New COVID variant, flu, RSV case arising. Doctor explaining how to stay healthy this holiday. And they repost a video from Dr. Sanjay Gupta from 2021. What a blast from the past this thing is. You have to watch it so as to believe it, that we actually went through this and this is not some horror movie.
The best thing about celebrating the holidays is bringing your loved ones together.
Oh, yes.
But also remember this. For the first time in a while, many of you may be meeting with some of the most vulnerable members of your household and doing it up close and indoors. And that increases the risk. So I thought I'd give you a few things to make it a little bit safer.
Oh, he's going to be mentioning what? Healthy diet, don't be a fat bastard, lose some weight, which is going to be doing a lot for your health in general, besides increasing your immune system and making more likely for you to go through this without much of a problem. What kind of advice do we have from good old Dr. Gupta here?
So let's start with vaccines.
Oh, cool.
The more vaccinated people there are, the better. Look, nothing is perfect, but the vaccines are really, really good.
Really?
They're effective. Remember, vaccinated people are 8 times less likely to get infected and 11 times less likely to die, according to the CDC. So you get vaccinated to protect yourself, but also to protect your family members. Testing. It's still one of the best tools that we have. I don't think that So you get vaccinated to protect yourself, but also to protect your family members.
They said these things. We all know that then they said the opposite, but this is what they were saying back in 2021. And then they said, whoop, yeah, you know how this goes. But it's good. It's good to watch these things and remember, all of us remember what they said not that long ago. It was not that long ago that they were pulling for this.
Testing.
No, they were shoving this down your throat. You were a lunatic if you did not agree like a zombie with everything they said.
It's still one of the best tools that we have. I don't think that we talk about them enough. I don't think we think about them enough. But keep in mind, let's say you're vaccinated, but still want to make sure you're not potentially carrying the virus, which can happen. What you can do is you can take a rapid antigen test that can tell you fairly accurately the answer to the question you're really asking. Are you contagious?
Right.
So you can buy one of these for about $20 and...
$20? You know how much these things cost in the rest of the world? $2. $2 US. You're being charged 10 times over. This is embarrassing. The way they monetize this is a scandal. All over Europe, those tests cost $2 or even $1 a piece, depending on what model you bought. The fact that they were charging people $20 for something that costs $1 to make and sell in the rest of the world just shows you what they were really all about all along.
It has 2 tests inside. So there's a swab. Most of us are familiar with these by now. So about 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch in each nostril, 5 big circles. Put it in the bottom hole here, shut it, and now we wait. I will tell you, it's probably important to plan ahead, order them online, so you have them for the holidays. One more thing, ventilation. It's also something important to think about at these gatherings. We know that this virus spreads through the air. So the more that you can get the air moving, the better. In fact, the way to think about it is think of the virus kind of like smoke. If there is smoke outdoors, you're going to be less likely to breathe it in. That you can get the air moving.
Do you remember when they said time and again, repeated time and again, that it was not airborne? That this was just a big drop of saliva or bodily fluid that had to make contact, because if not, it was not air. Do you remember when they argued if this was airborne or not? This is like arguing is if flu is airborne or not. That kind of renouncing your common sense was what they were imposing. People would think that, nope, if I'm not getting spit in the face, I cannot catch this. This is the way in which they manipulated the public, the way in which they knowingly lie to people is criminal. And yet, who is in jail? Who's been found guilty of anything after all of this madness, after all of this deceiving that they did, when we all knew what this was really all about? No one is paying for what they did. Folks, that's going to be all for now. See you in our next video. Take care.